Hello everyone, welcome back to the Coding Explorer. This is Pradyumna and let us continue our exploration of the world of software. Before we begin, I hope that you watched my last video about data types and operators in Python. Now let me tell you the answer for the homework I had given. I had asked you to continue the program to tell the user the only integer of how much each person has to pay and what is the remainder. So we have to slightly modify our code. Instead of taking the float, we will take the integer. So as you remember, we have to put a double slash. So you will get only an integer value. So you'll print the average, but then you might even have an remainder. So we write rem is equal to total and percentage symbol and the number of persons. So you'll divide this and you'll find the remainder, and you'll tell whatever is the remainder to the user. So let us run it. I'll just give it a 7. So you can see it gives the remainder, and this is an integer value and not a float value. So let us continue. We'll be learning about conditional statements. Conditional statements are also called as branching statements. They're used to run different codes based on whatever condition you have given. So the computer checks the condition. If it's true, then only it will run a different type of code. Then we'll learn about the types. They are if statement, if else statement, and the elif statement. We'll learn each of them. So you can see that if statement, if you give a condition, only if it's true, it does a different code. But if it's false, it directly finishes it and goes to the next statement. Now what if the condition turns out to be false? We use the if else statement. What we do here is we give an condition. If the condition is true, it runs a piece of code, but if it's false, it runs a different piece of code which is given in the else block. Now let us learn about elif statement. It is used to check multiple conditions. So you can see that if you have multiple conditions like this, you use if else elif statement. So you give condition 1. If it turns out to be true, it runs a piece of code, but if it's false, it goes to the second statement. And if this is true, it will print or run this code. But if this is also false, it goes to condition 3. And like this, you can concatenate different types of conditions as many as you want. So let us start creating the program. We'll be creating a program that checks if a student is passed or not. That is, it should be greater than 35. So you can see it gets my marks, and then it gets the total of how many marks, and then it prints my percentage and it tells if I've passed or failed. So let us begin. We create a new project. I'll just name it as class 4 conditions. Okay, so now instead of continuing with this main.py, we create a new file because we are going to get two programs. So we gave a Python program, so we'll just give pass fail checker. Let us begin. We first get the marks of the user. We ask for the input, how many marks you got, but we have to convert this into an integer as I told you in the last class. If we have to use operators, so we convert it to integer form. Then we take their total. We have to convert this also into an integer. then we take the input out of how many marks. So we find the percentage. I'll just give it as perc. We have to just convert marks divided by total into 100. So we got the percentage. Now let us just print it to the user. Your percentage is, and we give the percentage which is there. We have to convert it into string form, so we give is string of pers. Then we'll check if they have passed or not. So if it has to be greater than 35, if you want you can give it as 35.0 or 35. So it's only if it's greater, we'll print congratulations, you pass. We can also give another message saying keep it up. But you have to make sure that if it's not greater than 35, you have to also say something else. So we have to put this else statement. So we print sorry you failed. So we'll just give another message saying better luck next time. So let us just run it. I'll give I got 50 out of 60. So you can see that it gives my percentage and it says congratulations, you pass, keep it up. So if you have to give a line space, you can just write /n. You have to also give it here because this won't be run if you take it here. So you just write, I'll just give I got 25 out of 100. So it's saying sorry you failed, better luck next time. We'll be creating another program. So in this program we'll create an ice cream pack selector. I hope you'll always like ice cream. So it will be something similar to this. So it'll ask the number of people and then it'll suggest what pack to buy. So let us start with the next program. We'll just create a new Python file. We'll just name it as ice cream selector. So we created this. Now we'll ask the number of person. We'll just take int. We have to convert it into an integer form again. So we take input and we ask the number of people. Are there. So we check if the number of people is equal to 1. So I hope you remember I taught you about this comparison operator. So it checks if these two are equal and it returns true. So if statements run this code, it will only run if this is true. So we just tell the user we suggest you to buy single pack. So now we have to check if it's greater than 1, or we can just say if it's less than 4. So it will run only if this is not equal to 1 or it's less than 4. So let us just give if. So we don't use else over here because we have multiple conditions to check. So we write if it's less than 4. So if it's less than 4 and it has to be greater than 1, or else it will go here and it will never come here, we just print, we just copy, you can copy this, we can just give regular pack. Now again we check if it's less than 6. So if it's 4 or greater than 4, that is 4 or 5, then only we suggest them to buy the family pack. So if it's 1, it will go here. If it's 2 or 3, it will come here. And if it's 4 or 5, it will come here. But if it's greater than, it's not equal to any of these values, we just say we suggest you to buy large pack. So let us just run and check it. How many people are there? I'll give 1. So it tells us to buy the single pack. Let us check with other numbers. Let us try with 3. It tells us to buy the regular pack. Now again we'll check with 4. It tells us to buy with the family pack. And if it's 5, it also, and if it's 5, it also tells us to buy the family pack. So let us go above 5. Let us just take 6 or 7 will take. You can see it tells us to buy the large pack. So but if you had to just print thank you, you need not give thank you every time over here. At the last you can just say print thank you. So after suggesting whatever is based on it, it gives thank you after all of these based on whatever the condition is there. So let us just check it again. So I'll just give it as 6. So you can see it suggests and it also gives the thank you. Before you leave, let me tell you that all the code is put up in GitHub. It is in class 4 conditions. So if you click on it, you'll find all the code that we have done today. So let me give you the homework. You have to create a password checker program. The password should be stored in a variable, and then you have to use if and else statement and say you have logged in if the password is correct, and enter the correct password if the password is wrong. Now let me tell you the most amazing thing about Python, which you have been waiting for to listen. Python is the world's most popular language. It is because it is very similar to English and it can be easily understood. The most important thing that you wouldn't have heard is that Python took over French. That is, 60% of the parents wanted their children to learn Python instead of French, and it is one of Google's official languages. Thank you everyone. Please learn, like, subscribe and share, and click on the bell button for my next videos. We'll be learning about lists and tuples in the next class.